Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob for Smirking Gun Reviews, and it's comic book time. Finally had some time to catch up and read some books. So here we go. Let's just get right started and start with Amazing Spider-Man #2. This is another good book by Nick Spencer and Ryan Ottley. Basically, it's a pretty quick story that you find out that Curt Connors, this lizard, is basically gained control of himself, that they finally figured out a way to manage his transformations and his aggressiveness. Then Taskmaster and Black Ant show up, and Peter takes care of them, but you find out that somehow Peter Parker and Spider-Man have become split. Their identities are two different people, and they don't remember like that they used to be one person. And that's all this really is. It's a pretty quick read. There's a lot of words, but I flew through it pretty fast. It's a good story arc to begin with. Let's just see where it goes. I do highly recommend it. I love this cover. I love Ryan Ottley's art so far, and I'm digging Nick Spencer's writing as well. Okay. Next up is Deadpool Assassin #4. I got a glare over here. Hang on one second. It's annoying the shit out of me. Okay, so Deadpool Assassin #4. Again, it's a good story. It's continuing. It just has a lot of little mini things that are showing all the jobs that Deadpool's taking to get his money that he wants, so he can get his he can quit being a mercenary. And the Assassin's Guild is still after him, and just more craziness ensues. Weasel's wife finds out about his job and is actually kind of, when you think she'd be pissed off, she's actually kind of intrigued that Deadpool is his client. It's just as violent and crazy as ever. I do highly recommend picking up this book. I'm going to try to move right along in this. So, Infinity Wars Prime. This is the George Perez. I think that's his name, yeah. George Perez variant cover. He's the guy who did the Infinity Gauntlet. So I thought I'd like to pick up this cover. In this, it's the beginning of the next chapter of this past Infinity Countdown. We are now at Infinity Wars, and the main thing to take away from this, all I'm going to say is, well, they pretty much take care of Thanos. They take him off the board pretty quick. So anybody that has like, oh god, it's just gonna be waiting for Thanos to take the Infinity Gauntlet, get all the gems. That's not what happens here. There's a new player in this, and it fucking kills Thanos. Thanos is dead, or at least this version of him, or whatever. So it's a good start. I myself was concerned that eventually Thanos is just gonna get involved in just a matter of time. But I like that. This is a good start. Good start. That's all I'm gonna say about it, even though that's a big thing to say. So, here we have Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing and the Human Torch #8. In this, Ben and Johnny have finally lost their powers altogether, and Ben is still like trying to find Reed and Sue and the kids with Johnny, and they found Amadeus Cho, who's trying to send out signals. And in this, it finally comes to a head. Johnny finally gets Ben to admit that Sue and Reed and the kids are all dead. They kind of have it out, but it's something that needed to happen, and the way it happens is pretty cool. And as we know, the Fantastic Four is coming back, so it's just kind of like the only thing that takes away from this book is that we know for sure that they're coming back, and so kind of deflates the whole thing now going forward. Okay. Moon Knight number 197. We're almost at 200 issues for Moon Knight. That's pretty cool. Again, one of the best books that I read. Easily in the top probably 5 books I read. This is just great. It's telling this story. These 4 people, they're like sadomasochists, and they're telling their stories. They're at this like dark club of people that are into what they're into, and it's just the dark crap that these people do. And suddenly Moon Knight shows up, and that's all I'm gonna say. Moon Knight just still kicking ass as a book. Gotta read it, man. You guys gotta pick up Moon Knight. And it still makes me excited for a possible TV show. But man, if it's on Netflix, I hope they go hardcore on it. Anyway, now we have Mr. and Mrs. X, the Gambit Rogue book. Not a bad first issue. It basically just kind of covers the wedding, the things behind the scenes. Okay, so in the X-Men wedding thing, when Magic, Illyana Rasputin, gets inside Kitty's head, you know, it's not all her fault, but, you know, she feels like she played a part in them not getting married. So whose fucking brilliant idea was it to put her and Rogue together where she starts talking shit about, like, her marriage? Like, somebody get fucking Illyana Rasputin a boyfriend or something. Get her away from these relationships because she's toxic. Anyway, they do go through with the wedding. They go to their honeymoon out in space, and they end up on an adventure. And it's a good start. I like it. I like that they immediately separate them from the rest of the X group so that they can have their own thing for a little while, or at least a few issues. And that's about it. I do like it. I mean, for a book that, you know, you could go, Jesus Christ, Mr. and Mrs. X, how fucking lame is that? I don't know. But see, I've been shipping Rogue and Gambit since the 90s. So, like the early 90s, like 1990. So, I'm finally getting what I wanted from like a ton of years ago. So, I'm just going to enjoy it while it lasts. Multiple Man, number 2. Again, continuing a pretty great story. Just Jamie Madrox trying to fix a future where his guys took over. I'm not really going to say anything else. I really am not. You either like Jamie Madrox or you don't. But this is a surprisingly well-written book, and I like it. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Old Man Logan, number 44. Kind of a quick read. Just more of the Bullseye storyline where Bullseye's taking people out. The art inside is a little bit improved over the last couple of issues. It's really the story about this guy named Bullet that Bullseye's torturing for information. And just, you know, just Bullseye being more of a crazy character. Like, Old Man Logan's barely in this, but I feel like they are building to something here. But again, I still predict that issue 50 will probably be the last issue of this book. So I'm going to keep getting it, and it's not bad. It's just because I feel like it's winding down. I don't know why they're doing a Bullseye story, but I don't know. Okay, Punisher 228, the last issue of this run. The next issue is number 1. So that's when the reboot starts. This is Tony, you know, trying to get Punisher out of the suit. But the surprise in this is that nobody else can convince Frank to stop what he's doing until Rhodey shows up. And that pretty much changes things. And he's able to convince Frank that, you know, he needs to get out of the War Machine suit. Kind of, for how good this has been, it's a little bit of a bummer that it ends kind of flat. Because he's fighting heroes, so what is he going to do? Kill heroes? Like, you know, there's some good barbs traded. It's still nice to see that the John Bernthal looking Punishers in this. It doesn't look like that's going to continue going forward, which really sucks. And, you know, yeah, they capture Frank. And to also go into this, the Steve Rogers, the evil Steve Rogers is in this, and they're both taken captive. And then Black Widow and Bucky stop the truck to get Frank out. So, Evil Steve is still out there. Baron Zemo. See, that's the thing. They could have at least let Punisher take out Zemo or Evil Cap, but no. So it's kind of a letdown how it ended, a little bit. For as ballsy as it had been to me, but we'll see how the reboot is going forward. Hopefully, it's pretty good. Okay, another pretty good book, Sentry #2. This Bob, guy, who is the Sentry, who can't be the Sentry without bringing an evil to the world. They'll, threaten it pretty bad. He's on a timer. The thing that has been controlling this other pocket universe that he goes to every 24 hours has been stolen. The evil over there is taken over, and it's just having its own fun, killing over and over the people that are in Bob's mind over there. And in this, they eventually have to try to isolate Bob because the timer's out. And you find he just decides that, I can't live like this. I'm going to try to fix things. Turns into the Sentry, and then we find out that his partner is the one who stole the machine. This is a pretty good book. I am surprised at this. I thought when I agreed that I would put this in my pull list, I was pretty sure I was going to hate it, but I don't. It's pretty decent. Okay. Venom #4. I like this cover. It's a pretty good cover. But the thing is this is pretty much just the origin story of the big bad. I don't really have much more to say about it except Miles Morales tries to do something near the end, and I'm not quite sure where it's going to end up. It's a good book. I'm not going to diss this issue. It's just it's an origin story issue. So if you wanted, it's not a first appearance. It's just an explanation of the bad guy, and I don't know. I guess they needed to do that, but they used the whole issue to tell it. All right, X-23 #2. Very fast read. Just continuing the Cuckoos trying to do their thing with the DNA of Laura. It's an all right issue, but it's nothing compared to what's been, what was going on a little bit more in All New Wolverine. This is, I don't know. I'm not sure where the story's going, but right now it's kind of slow going. And as far as villains go, the Cuckoos are just kind of, I don't know, aren't they like D or E list X-Men characters? I don't know. So I'm not gonna stop reading the book, but it was just kind of the stuff between Gabby and Laura is always funny to me, but there's not really much else that I liked about that issue. X-Men Blue #32. Big bad fight with Magneto. That's pretty much all you got to know. And him, them just fight. It's been building up to this, them thinking that this was why, Magneto from before brought them here. And I don't know. It's again building towards the next storyline, the big storyline, the extermination thing about the future and shit that Magneto has seen and all that. So, it's okay, but it's time to start getting better storylines. I am getting a little bored with X-Men books, the X-Men Gold, X-Men Blue. X-Men Red's okay, but X-Men Gold and Blue, I don't know, man. Something's been kind of off a little bit. I think the wedding storyline went too long. I think the poison thing was okay, but you had Venom and X-Men Blue doing Poison X, and then you had the Venom, Venomized, and so it's been going on for so long that when they finally get back to this with the end of Mother Vine and trying to find Jimmy Hudson and stuff like that, it just kind of feels aimless a little bit. But last and not least, Doomsday Clock #6. This is one of the variants, I think. Basically Joker and Mime and Mary, whatever her name is, is. They've got Batman, and they run into the comedian who starts taking out the villains. All the villains are like meeting up because of this whole Superman theory thing that's going on. And there's some good Joker stuff in here. There's more backstory on the mime and marionette backstory. I feel like they're spending a lot of time on these two, and it's not bad, but I mean, this is Doomsday Clock, man. Isn't there supposed to be some bigger fucking storylines besides these two knuckleheads? But anyway, the stuff with the comedians is all right. I don't understand the end where the Joker gets the drop on him, but otherwise, it's still a pretty good book. Like I said, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not gonna stop reading it, but I just kind of there's got to be more to it. There's only 12 issues, and we're now at the halfway point. And all we got was like one villain gets his head blown off that I'd never even heard of, and I think the Riddler gets his like ankle shattered by a bullet. I don't know. So anyway, this is that's the comic book reviews for this week. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, share, comment, hit the bell for all the notifications, and we will see you on the next video. Thanks for all the support, and yeah, keep reading. See ya.